In the quiet street of Enugu, Nigeria, lived a girl named Chichi. Chichi was not just any girl. She was beautiful. Her smile could light up the darkest room. Her laughter was soft like birds singing in the morning. Since she was just 10 years old, Chichi had one big dream. "I want to be a model," she would say to herself while looking in the mirror. She would stand straight, place one hand on her hips, and walk like the woman she saw on TV. But every time she said it out loud, her aunties would laugh. "Model, you, without your body, find another dream, dear." Those words stabbed her heart like sharp knives. 15 years later, Chichi was still chubby. Her cheeks were round, her arms soft, and her stomach not like the girls on magazine cover. Because of her size, every modeling agency she goes to rejected her. Every single day, she cried under her bedsheet at night, softening her face into her pillow. "I'm not good enough," she would say. Her father, Mr. Eze, would sit beside her and gently rub her back. "Chioma," he would say, because that was her full name. "It's their loss, not yours, my dear. You are my star." But Chichi didn't believe him. "They're not losing anything, Papa," she would say, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I'm the one losing my dreams." Still, Chichi didn't stop dreaming. She watched YouTube videos and copied every model's walk. She learned how to turn, pause, and smile like a queen. She practiced every day in the sitting room. But no matter how hard she worked, no one gave her a chance. One day, Chichi sat on her bed, staring into the mirror. She was tired of being rejected. That night, she made a decision. "I will change my body. I must. I have to." She went online and bought a herbal slimming drug. The ad said, "Lose fat in 30 days, no side effect." It sounded perfect. Chichi started taking the pills every morning and night. She stopped eating much. One afternoon, while trying to film herself walking like a model, her stomach twisted in pain. She screamed and fell to the floor. Her father rushed her to the hospital. For 2 weeks, Chichi laid in bed with wires in her hands and machine beeping beside her. Her father never left her side. He held her hand and whispered prayers. Tears flowed from his eyes every night. "You can't leave me too," he said. "Not after your mother." 5 years ago, Chichi's mother died of cancer. Mr. Eze never fully recovered. Now, seeing his only daughter fighting for her life broke him again. When Chichi finally opened her eyes, she looked weak and tired. Her body felt heavy, her throat dry. She cried softly. "I almost lost my life. For what? For beauty." She held her father's hand and apologized. "I am sorry, Papa," she said. He smiled weakly. "You are alive. That is all that matters, my dear." But deep down, Chichi's dreams still burned like fire. She was more determined than ever. She promised herself that she would still become a model one day. So Chichi started something new. She created a YouTube channel with her name and began making content of herself walking like a model. She picked clean backgrounds, bright places, and wore nice clothes. She watched other people's videos and learned how to make hers better. She practiced her work, her smile, her turns. She edited her video on a laptop and added music. Then, she posted them online. At first, only a few watched, but she kept posting. One video, then another, and another. She stayed up late editing. After 5 months of hard work, something amazing happened. Her video started going viral. More people watched, more people shared, and her channel hit 1,000 subscribers. Chichi was so excited. Her life began to change. Companies noticed her. They sent her clothes and asked her to wear them in her videos. She started earning huge amount of money from her channel. She bought better clothes, shoes, and even rented a studio space. She became a star online. But even with all the success, Chichi still looked at herself in the mirror and frowned. I'm still not slim. I still don't look like a model. She felt pressure, not from her followers, but from inside. One evening, while sitting with her dad, she said, "Papa, I want to travel for a surgery to remove the fat in my body." Her father looked at her with worried eyes. "Chioma," he said gently. "Why? You are beautiful the way you are. You don't have to change anything to fit in." Chichi looked down at her hands. "Papa, you don't understand. You're not a girl. You have never been laughed at because of your body. You have never been told no because of how you look. I need this, Papa. Please." 3 months later, Chichi flew abroad for the operation. She came back very slim, with a new look. She didn't look anything like her former self. Not long after, she got a call from a big modeling agency in Nigeria. They wanted her. Chichi was so excited. She packed her bags and moved to Lagos. She walked in her first real runaway show. Cameras flashed, people clapped. She wore beautiful clothes and stood tall in front of a large crowd. She had finally become the model she always dreamed of being. Her name was in magazine. She was invited to shows. She became famous. But then, comments started coming in. Some were kind, many were insulting. Her followers bullied her for being slim. They said she wanted to be accepted. And that was the truth. But Chichi never cared. She was blinded by her success. One day, something happened that shook her. Her modeling agency hired a new girl. She was chubby. Chichi stared at her with so much disgust because she reminded her of her former self. "She's too fat," she said to her manager. "Why would they hire someone like that? It's not good for her image." She forgot what it felt like to be judged the same way. Each time she saw Amaka, her heart felt tight. That night, Chichi sat in her room, staring at the mirror. For the first time in a long while, Chichi felt something cold and heavy in her chest. The new girl's name was Amaka. She was full of life and walked confidently like she owned the stage. The crowd loved her. Some brands started asking for her. Some fans started comparing her to Chichi. "She's just like how Chichi used to be," someone commented. Chichi read those words over and over again. They made her heart bitter towards Amaka. "She's taking the light I worked so hard for," she said to herself. One day, after a big show rehearsal, Amaka left her shoe backstage while she went to change outfit. Chichi walked past and saw them. Soft pink heels, the kind you wear for a runway. She looked around. No one was watching. Then she hit a small nail inside one of the heels. It was sharp, long enough to hurt. She will learn that modeling isn't for everyone, she whispered. Later that day, Amaka smiled brightly as she put on her shoes. She didn't notice the nail. She took a few steps. Then suddenly, she screamed, fell to the floor, holding her foot. Blood dripped from her heels. The nail had pierced deep into her skin. Everyone rushed to her side. The show was paused. People were shocked. Chichi stood far back, pretending to be surprised. Amaka was rushed to the hospital. The modeling company promised to investigate. That night, Chichi had a dream. She was walking down a runway, dressed in white, with bright lights all around her. People clapped. The crowd cheered. But then, the light changed. The clap stopped. Suddenly, she was standing in front of a giant mirror, and in the mirror, she saw not the slim, famous model, but her old self, chubby, innocent, and kind. The reflection frowned. Then it said, "What happened to me?" Chichi woke up, sweating, her heart pounding. For the first time in 3 years, she felt shame, deep shame. She remembered the girl who once cried herself to sleep, the girl who was laughed at, the girl who nearly died just to be accepted. And now, she had hurt someone just like her. The guilt sat on her chest like stone. The next morning, she walked into the modeling agency and confessed everything. Everyone was shocked. Her manager stared at her in silence. Some were angry, others were disappointed. She was suspended for a year. Her face was removed from billboards. Some people laughed at her fall. Others called her brave. She visited Amaka in the hospital and knelt beside her bed to ask for forgiveness. Amaka looked at her with sad eyes and nodded. "I forgive you," she said softly. From that day, something new began inside Chichi. She went back online, not with fancy videos or perfect pictures, but with her story. She told the truth about her struggles, mistakes, her surgery, and how she had hurt Amaka out of jealousy. And people listened. Most people began to follow her, not because she was perfect, but because she was real. She started a foundation called the Rejected Stones to help girls who were bullied or rejected because of how they looked. She gave scholarships, ran a free modeling training. She gave the stage to others who felt invincible. Years later, Chichi stood in front of hundreds of young girls. She wore a long red gown and held a microphone. "Once upon a time," she said, smiling gently, "I thought I had to become someone else to be accepted or seen. But now I know the real power is in being yourself. You don't have to change who you are to shine." The crowd clapped, with many in tears. Chichi looked at the audience and saw Amaka, now a strong and successful model, smiling proudly. Moral lesson: the world may reject you, but that doesn't mean you don't have value. You don't have to change yourself to fit into someone's idea of being perfect. The very thing that makes you different are the things that make you powerful. So to every girl or boy who ever felt unwanted or